G'day everyone and welcome back to Freo Faithful. Today I'm going to be previewing this Saturday's clash on the Gold Coast against the Gold Coast Suns. It's a game where our backs are certainly up against the wall. We are not the favourites. The odds, I believe, we're $3. We are $3 to win this game. The Suns at $1.39. So, hey, we're not expected to win this. A lot of our fan base is sort of considering this one a bit of a free hit, considering we don't fare very well up at People First Stadium. The Suns are a better team than us. But that being said, we have to just be going into this game with the attitude that we can win anywhere, we can win in any type of conditions, and we can go and win this game. Because if we really want to push for that eluded premiership this year, if we want to time this finals run correctly, then we've got to be winning these sorts of games just to instill that inner belief that we can match up against the best of the best. Because the Suns are one of the top 3 or 4 teams in the competition. They currently sit in the top 4. They sit 9-2, and they are a very, very good side. On paper, they're very good. They're very well coached as well. I was listening to Damien Hardwick's press conference, and I mean, we know his talent as a coach, but he's just so confident with this group of players. He gave a fair few compliments to sort of our list and our coach and the way we set up. So he's aware of the proposition that faces him. He was saying that our record probably doesn't suggest how good we actually are. So Dimmer's prepared, he'll prepare the players, and I'm sure the Suns as a whole are prepared for, the challenge that we will bring them, hopefully. And I think we are growing in some consistency, but I'm still not 100% sure what Freo is going to turn up week in, week out. I think since the Collingwood game, we've put together a fairly good patch of footy. Certainly the past 8 quarters we've played have been fantastic. So we are due for maybe a little bit of a blip. As history shows, we're not an overly consistent team, but I'm just hoping we can continue to put together 4 quarters of good footy every week going forward. Let's take a look at the team news for the Suns. First of all, Malcolm Moses and Ethan Reid have both been omitted. And Leo Lombard comes into the team, the debutant, the Suns' most highly touted pick. Ned Moyle also comes in as a second ruck. He stands at 206 centimetres. He's a big, big boy, which obviously plays into our team selection. In terms of their injury list, they don't have a lot of best 22 players on the injury list. They are fairly healthy, the Suns. Mac Andrew was listed as a test coming into this game, but he got up and he will play, which is going to be an interesting one. He'll probably line up on Josh Tracy. Lockie Weller, former Docker, he's out for 1 to 3 weeks, so he won't get up for this game. One of their best halfback ball users, but that being said, they've already got some pretty good halfbacks in the team. And Will Graham is also out for 6+ weeks, one of their best players. He's recently been chucked onto the injury list, so that's a big loss for the Suns. Going on to our team news now, our injury list is massive. Sean Darcy was listed as a test, but he did get up after taking that extra week off against the Power. Jagger Amira 2 weeks, Quinton Narkle 4 to 6 weeks, Cooper Simpson's been listed as 10 weeks. Not sure if that timeline's going to change anytime soon. Sam Sturt, who was listed only for a 2-weeker last week, has suffered a setback during the week, unfortunately, so he has been listed under TBC, to be confirmed. So hopefully we see Sturdy back out there soon enough. Brandon Walker, 7 weeks. Michael Walters, 2 weeks. And Hayden Young, 8 to 9 weeks. So he's still got a fair way to go. Nathan O'Driscoll, he's been named as fit. And he's played waffle. But he hasn't been selected. So a real weird one. I'm not really sure what's happening with the whole Noddy situation. I've got a little bit of an inkling a late change could be made. James Aish and Nathan O'Driscoll are both over there. Both fit, both travelling emergencies. Is there a little slight chance that with the odd makeup of our lineup, one of James Aish and Nathan O'Driscoll come in to give us a bit of pace? Maybe we're waiting just to see what the conditions are like on the day, because it's expected to be a pretty wet game. Maybe we are just waiting to bring one of those guys in as a late change. I'm not sure, because obviously it's a weird makeup, our lineup, which we'll get into in a second. The changes we've made are Alex Pearce, he's out injured after that tribunal mess we had during the week. He, in the end, won't play. Isaiah Dudley, he's out due to personal reasons, and Cooper Simpson is obviously out due to that AC joint. Josh Draper is the in for Alex Pearce, and then Nat Fyfe, out of nowhere, is in, as well as Sean Darcy. Now, the club obviously knows more than we do about this whole Fyfe thing. I reckon they've just been keeping his sort of return to football under wraps. A week or so ago, his timeline sped ahead of schedule real quickly out of nowhere, and now all of a sudden he's back out playing AFL footy. And Sean Darcy, we've certainly brought in to mitigate the Ned Moyle, Jared Witts sort of double barrel ruck combo. Now Luke Jackson obviously will have ascendancy whenever he rucks in there at ground level, giving us an extra contest or extra number in the contest in the wet. But Sean Darcy's body is going to be crucial just in wearing down the Witts and Moyle combo, who are two big boys. Witts is 209 centimeters, Moyle's 206 centimeters. So while at first I wasn't over the moon with Darcy coming in, I've sort of grown to the fact that it probably is the right decision despite the conditions. And he's going to have to come back in at some point. We're not just going to go the whole season without playing Sean Darcy, let's be real. Now, Nat Fyfe coming in absolutely shakes us up massively. So I was writing the notes for this preview before the news came out that Fyfe was confirmed sub. Someone reported it on Twitter. But how I thought the team could possibly look with him in the team was option 1, Erasmus third mid, Fyfe fourth mid, plus tag. Bolton plays bulk forward, Wagner goes to halfback, and Banfield would play as sub. It's been confirmed that that won't happen, and Banfield will indeed play forward. Now, another option could have been Fyfe, Bolton, and Wagner play in the midfield. Banfield goes to halfback like he did last week, and he played very well in that role, and Erasmus starts at sub. It's turning out that that won't be the case. And what will happen, it'll be Shea Bolton stays as that third mid, Erasmus plays as that fourth mid, as he has been the past few weeks. Banfield will start forward as a replacement for Dudley. We sort of do need a smaller guy down there. And Fyfe will start a sub, as it's been confirmed. Now, if it sort of turns out that, a Noah Anderson or a Matt Rao are getting off the leash, Fyfe will probably be deployed as a tagger. That is what I would imagine. Now, I'm not sure if what Fyfe did to Heaney last year in that Sydney away game, I'm not sure if you'd call it a tag. You'd more call it a run with role, because he wasn't on Heaney's ass for the entire game. But he certainly was given a job to sort of mitigate his influence. Now, I'm wondering that if Anderson up to half-time has 25 touches and he is just taking the piss, maybe Fyfe does get brought on to play that sort of role. Because I'm not sure how much match fitness he'll necessarily have. I mean, if he's starting a sub, clearly not enough to get through a full 4 quarters. So I think that could be the sort of role that we've brought Fyfe over to do if need be. So that's going to be a very interesting watch on how many numbers sort of roll through that midfield, because we have got so many guys that can play in different areas of the ground with the sort of inclusions we have brought in. Now, the Sean Darcy thing is big because it's going to be interesting to see how we actually play him. Now, there are two options on how we could play the bloke, because I don't think he will be number 1 ruck in any scenario on Saturday. Now, the first situation, the fact Darcy's been named to the bench means that we could just use him at ruck contests, bring him on and off with like 30% game time, and use him purely in ruck contests to compete with Witts and Moyle. That could be one thing. I don't think that'll happen. The second option is the most likely one, and it's what I've put together. So Jackson will probably ruck about 60-40 like he did in the Collingwood game. Jackson attended 61% of CBAs in that Collingwood game. Darcy attended 39%. So basically 60-40, 61-39. Now, that Jackson CBA number could be inflated a little bit due to him playing a fair bit of midfield that game as a rover. But all in all, Jackson played majority ruck that game as opposed to Darcy. Now, in that game, Jackson had 17 hitouts, Darcy had 15 hitouts. So while Jackson attended a lot more CBAs than Darcy, Darcy fairly evened out the hitout count against a very, very good Darcy Cameron. Now, we had massive contest ascendancy that day. We had plus 29 inside 50s, if anyone remembers. We just kept bombing it. Our entries were terrible, but we won the contest fair and square. We destroyed Collingwood in that aspect of the game against 2 genuine rucks in Darcy Cameron and Mason Cox, similar to the Jared Witts, Ned Moyle thing we've got going on this weekend. And Jackson also played sort of the main ruck role around the ground that day, competing and matching up on Cameron around the ground. He led the Dockers in intercept marks that day. He's 4th in intercept marks for Freo this season, behind Pierce, Cox, and Ryan. He's the highest rated ruck in the comp, and he's the 4th highest rated player in the competition, full stop. And he's coming off back-to-back best on ground performances in big wins. So Jackson is a fantastic number 1 ruck, and we've been playing very good footy with Jackson as our number 1 ruck, and in my opinion, and the fan base's consensus opinion, Jackson is our best ruck, and he should be playing as number 1 ruck for us going forward and this Saturday. However, history and stats still show that we play our best footy with both Darcy and Jackson, and especially against 2 rucks that are both 205 centimetres plus. Now, despite the conditions and despite what we all truly think our best footy looks like, let's back this in. I think Sean Darcy is going to give us good ascendancy out in the middle, and I think he's going to provide great value against the double ruck combo that Gold Coast possess. Now, that's one key to win, because winning the ruck is going to be half the battle in winning the contest. But I don't really think the game's going to be won at the contest necessarily. I think when it's a wet weather game, it's won inside the arcs. Now, Gold Coast love to move the ball from their back arc off half-back, and that's the way they play most of their really good footy, which is why we've got to bring great front-half pressure. They do play their best footy when their half-back ball movement is striving. So you've got the John Nobles, the Daniel Riolis, the Bodie Eulens, and the Will Powells. They're the guys that Gold Coast want the ball with. They kickstart most of the Suns' transition from the back half in a bit of a similar vein to the Giants. Now, our forward pressure was top tier when we beat GWS, based off the Swikowskis, the Reeds, the Dudleys, and the Boltons. And it must be the same against Gold Coast, because we've got to shut down that facet of their game. Similar to the Adelaide game. Now, Adelaide don't really play a back half sort of style, but our forward half pressure was fantastic. It led to a lot of turnover, and it led to a lot of goals coming off turnover. Now, that's got to be the same, because it's the main facet in which the Suns play their best footy. Now, our wet weather intelligence, yet again, is going to be crucial, because it's like 95% chance of rain, 90% humidity. It's going to be an absolute mud bath on the Gold Coast on Saturday. Now, we showed last week against the Power that our maturity in the wet has definitely grown, which is great to see, because for years upon years, especially, I remember 2022, we were playing some real good footy in the first half of the year, and we went and lost back-to-back games against the Pies and against the Suns. Both wet weather games, and ever since then, we just haven't really been able to play in the wet. Now, the only real wet weather game I remember us playing last year was against Richmond. We won by 50 points, and ever since then, we've been playing some good footy in the wet. Now, our forward half makeup last year is completely different to what we've got this year. We have the Tom Emmets and the Bailey Banfields running through there consistently. Now we've got the Murphy Reeds and the Shea Boltons and the Isaiah Dudleys, who won't be there this weekend. But point is, we've got a different makeup down there, and they are all very, very intelligent at ground level. Shea Bolton's going to play a lot more forward to fill the void of Isaiah Dudley, who's not playing, so he'll have to have a big game and need to step up. And, you know, the Jay Amoses and the Josh Tracys and the Paddy Vosses, who did really well at bringing the ball to ground for our smalls last week, are going to have to do the same thing, because it's going to be similar conditions, and we've just sort of got to play in the same vein that we did, which resulted in a win over Port Adelaide. Now, the in-game coaching is also going to prove crucial in this contest. Justin Longmuir does have a big job against a very good coach in Damien Hardwick. Now, the Suns are very, very versatile, with a lot of medium-sized guys that can be thrown anywhere at any given time, and it's one of the Suns' hidden strengths. You've got the Sam Closies, the Bodie Eulens, the Joel Jeffreys, the Sam Flanders, the Took Millers, and the Mac Andrews. There are a few names that I've sort of assessed and thought those guys can be thrown anywhere at any given time, and they can provide an impact in whichever position they're thrown in. So we've got to be very, very wary of that. We've got a few versatile guys as well that have been running through our team in recent weeks. Corey Wagner, Bailey Banfield, Heath Chapman, Carl Warner, Jordan Clark, Shea Bolton. You know, these sorts of guys can be chucked in a variety of different positions, which is sort of matters a little bit more of a dangerous team this year. And we're going to have to sort of use that to our strength if we want to mitigate whatever Damien Hardwick's going to do with his Suns outfit on Saturday. Now, the last point I want to make is a motto we used a lot in our 2013 Premiership push and just that whole early Ross Lyon era, and it is anyone, anywhere, anytime. And it's when we played our best footy, we just used that no excuses mentality, that we can beat anyone, we can beat them anywhere, and we can beat them anytime, in any conditions. We have no excuses for it. Like, People First Stadium is a stadium we don't travel well at. Like, we don't play very well on the Gold Coast. Historically, we aren't very good in wet weather. And against the Gold Coast outfit, they're 9-2, premiership fancies, you know, our chances are not very high. But we can't have excuses. If we want to time a finals run, if we want to play finals footy, if we want to push for a premiership this year, we've got to win these games. Tough conditions, on a ground we don't fare well at. Bring it on. Who cares? I'm going to tip Fremantle by 5. It's got shades of the Swans game at the SCG last year. Our backs were against the wall. We had no Alex Pearce. We had a few key outs. But for some reason, I just feel like we step up and win this game in a really tight affair. I've got a bit of faith based off our wet weather win last week. It's a bit similar to the Giants game in a way where it's a stadium we don't fare well at. But the Giants, leading up to that game, hadn't played at NG Stadium in 5 weeks. Similar to that, the Gold Coast haven't played at People First Stadium in 5 weeks. They haven't been there in a while. It sort of evens up the contest a little bit. So I'm backing our boys in. I've just got a feeling. If you want to watch the game with me, join me on my channel, link in the description, for the watch along tomorrow, as well as the fan cams after the game. Come and have your say on hopefully a win on the Gold Coast. Our backs are against the walls. We're not the favourites. It's a big, big task. Potentially our toughest game of the season to date. But hopefully we can pull something out of the bag. I'm going to place my faith in JL and the boys, led by Andy Brayshaw, who will be our captain tomorrow. I can't wait. Thank you all for watching. Leave your tip and thoughts on the game down in the comments, and I'll see you all next time. Up the Dockers.